guys, it's your boy Ron, and you're watching the Ron Show, Knicks Take. So today I'm going to be talking about the Knicks and how we've been improving. Also, I'm going to be talking about Derrick Rose and the trade, and also other rumors that are going on, and also the upcoming games. So let's get started. So where do I even start? I mean, we're playing absolutely amazing. I have never seen a team play like this in my whole entire life. Like, I've never seen the Knicks play like this since maybe 2012-13 when, Mike Woodson coached that Knicks. But it's just been amazing. We had 3 straight wins, and it's just been quite a roller coaster ride. I mean, really, the win against Atlanta, Washington, Houston. I mean, guys, the 3 straight wins that we've won against those teams, it's mind-blowing. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because we're going to come back to losing and all that. No. We've got 1 loss against the Orlando Magic. 1. Now, are we going to be the same Knicks like we were a couple of years ago? Hell no. And I just want to tell you guys one of my reasons of why. Because right now we've got a head coach who has been here during the 90s Knicks, the early 90s Knicks. So he was here, Tom Thibodeau was here in 1996 to 2006. So he saw that Patrick Ewing era, and then he saw it end. And then he saw that shitty Knicks era, and then he went to another team. And then, and then he started his whole coaching career. And when he finished up in Minnesota and got fired, he took a couple of years, and next thing you know, we're sitting here in 7th place, and we're like, oh my God, I think we just found a coach that could help us. Now, I don't want to be too extremely excited on getting those W's back, but what I will tell you is that this is the New York Knicks that I haven't seen in quite a long time. Yes, let me tell you something. Mitchell Robinson is out for 4 to 6 weeks due to injury. But Norns Noel, I mean, the guy's a beast, So he's basically a tag team for Mitch whenever he's injured or something like that. We even have Taj Gibson. So just in case of those emergencies when Mitch has an injury, we have those 2 guys. That those are the 2 players of what we need, and so far, I mean, it's just amazing. If you see my last live stream on the Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks, it was quite a game because we went back and forth, and it was a non-stop until we said, no, we're going to stop this game. We're going to win it. We're going to win. You've beaten us for a hell amount of time. Now it's our time to shine. So that's what we did. We came on the floor and we were like, no, not today. You could beat us at some other time, but not today. This is our home court. And listen, we never played like this, Again, I always say that we played like this in 2012 and 13 when Mike Woodson was coaching us. I mean, and prior to the time that Mike D'Antoni was coaching us in 2010, 11, 12. So that's that only time that we actually saw this team actually going to the playoffs. And yes, we had players like Gallinari. We even had players like Carmelo and all these guys. And yes, they've come and gone, and Carmelo Anthony hasn't been like come and gone, but you get the point that I mean. It's players like Kristaps. It's players like some of these guys, even like Timmy Shimmy. We drafted the guy, and then we had a big issue with the organization because Phil Jackson was such an idiot. He didn't know what to do, and it was just the whole organization was a big ass mess, and James Dolan came in and this and this and that. It was crazy. Now, when you look at today's Knicks to back then, there is no news on Leon Rose. There is no news on James Dolan. That's all we want to hear. Quiet. Quiet from James. Quiet from Leon. Whatever Leon does, okay. Okay, so, you know what? We've got to deal with it, but at the same time, I think he's listening to us. Leon Rose is listening to the fans. Because the whole point is that us Knicks fans, we know what we want. We want to win. We want to get to that playoff mentality. That's what we want to do. And when it comes to the time that an organization like this hasn't been good for the last 5 to maybe 8 years, we know what we want. We know what we want, and that's to win. I'm not good at math, but when was the last time you seen the Knicks play good? 2012, 2013, the Mike D'Antoni era. The list goes on and on and on. Heck, I could even go further back. The Jeff Van Gundy era, the Pat Riley era. And then you go way back to the 70s, where you've got the Red Holtzman era, where he actually bring back-to-back titles. And not only that, but his rafters are hung in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. So, basically, if you know what I'm talking about, we haven't seen the Knicks play this good since maybe 2013. 2013! May I remind you, that's a long time ago. A really long time. Now, I'm not talking about extreme, but this is 2012-13. Do you know where I was in 2012 and 13? I was sitting in high school, busting my ass, doing homework, being in maybe 2 programs that were functioned very differently due to my learning disability and being with other spectrums of students. So it was quite a roller coaster ride for me. I'm not talking about the school. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not talking about school. None of that shit. But I'm talking about when I was a kid rooting for that team of the New York Knicks 2012 and 13, I was a sophomore, sitting in high school, busting my ass. And every single time I saw them win, I didn't do my homework. All I wanted to do was just watch the Knicks win. And that's what I got. And yes, I had fucked up days, but I was so fucking happy that we got maybe 3 straight wins, 4, 5, even if there were losses during 1 week, 2 weeks, it wasn't such a big deal. Maybe here and there, every now and then, Stephen A. Smith would talk about it on First Take or ESPN would probably talk about it, but it was very little. Then when that shitload started to explode, and Phil Jackson took um, that position of as president. I mean, that's when everything fucked up, and yeah, that's when I was a pain in the ass at school. So but like I said, I'm not really gonna be talking about school. I don't know why I'm even bringing that up. I had a fucked up time at high school a little bit. Um, but that is a totally different story. I did have some good teachers back at those days at high school. This is not the subject I'm going to be talking about. So, anyways, you know, um, yeah, I mean, basically, it's just been amazing to see these Knicks win. These New York Knicks play as a team. Julius Randle versus the Atlanta Hawks. 44 points. 44 points. When was Julius Randle a player who just knocked down each threes? When? When? Like, last season, this guy was this, player who just wanted to twist and loop-de-looped inside the net. So it was like, oh my god, this guy's terrible. We want to trade him. He proved us wrong. So that's that wake-up call that we need. And Julius is proving us wrong. We were fucking wrong. He was right. So I'm in shock. And Derrick Rose is finally playing better than when he was traded from Chicago back in 2015, 16, I'm assuming. So he's much better than when he got traded from Chicago to New York and that laughing ass Jeff Hornacek. Much better than that guy. Much better. Now Derrick Rose is comfortable with a coach that he's familiar and that he's played and that he's been coached with him in Chicago, in Minnesota, and he has another former teammate that he has played in Chicago and Minnesota, and now he's playing here. Taj Gibson. Can this get any much fucking better? This is what I'm talking about. So, I mean, I could sit here and just run on my mouth, but I do want to talk about the trade and some rumors that are going on. But yeah, let's start going. Let's start talking about that D Rose trade and what I kind of think about it. Listen. It was a really unexpected call to actually see that there was a trade from us saying that we will give up Devin Smith Jr. and I think it was like a second round pick, if I'm not mistaken, to Derrick Rose. Listen, I was shocked, but listen. Was I a really big fan of Devin Smith Jr.? I was, but he was one of those players where it was like it was watching. He was one of those players that it was a last second game, like at the fourth quarter. He was that last second player to come on the court and play for 2 minutes. And you know what? It's I want to agree with that. That we probably we added the guy to play 2 minutes in the game, but I don't know. I kind of agreed with this trade, and listen, I can't say whether Tom or Leon sat down and said, let's trade Devin. And I don't want to say that I knew. I did not know. But I knew that there was going to be a good trade. Everyone said it was going to be Frank. No, we still have Frank. I actually want him to stay. I'm going to say it now. I thought that he should have went to the Westchester Knicks just to improve. But overall, if we keep him and whether his injuries become like this and he comes back in the game and there's this and that, yeah, it's, let's see. I mean, even on some of the even on some of the Knicks YouTube shows that I watch, some of them say that, if Frank Ntilikina doesn't, start playing better or doesn't start playing good like what he once was, then what's the point of keeping him in the game? We might as well do the same thing to him. Let's not go too overboard, but it's a fact that if you're gonna add him and play him for maybe 10 minutes a game, like 10 minutes, 25 minutes, I don't know, like I forgot how many minutes he plays per game, but this year it's victories and all that. So I'll tell you something. Am I gonna be surprised if, let's say, we get rid of Frank Ntilikina? I will miss that guy, because you know what? He's kind of my favorite player. Like, he's not really my favorite player, but he's that guy that gives it all into the team. And if you're gonna come out right after an injury and just playing like a slump, you're not gonna be getting what you want, and like what Tom said, and I think it was this morning that I saw it. He said that you have to be given your minutes. That's Tom's way. Which, thank God that we actually have a coach that is saying that to the press, because when was the last time you ever heard a coach say that? Some of our coaches were just laughing and was like, "Hey, yeah, don't worry, Devin, you're going to be getting what you want. Don't worry, Trey, you'll." That was fucking David Fizdale. He was just laughing and getting along. He was like that bud that you had in high school. Tom Thibodeau? Hell, he's not even your bud from high school. He's more of like a teacher. I could even go much further. He's like Gordon Ramsay. No, not on my court. This is my court. You earn your minutes. You play by my rules. Heck, I've been in maybe 5 different teams. He's been in Boston. Like, the Boston, which they won the championship. He's been in Houston with Jeff Van Gundy, I believe. He's been in New York with Jeff Van Gundy, and if I'm not mistaken, Pat Riley. He's been in all of these teams that, being an assistant and learning from those guys, from Doc, from Jeff, from, I believe, Pat, he's been learning from those guys. So for him to come back as a head coach of this team and not an assistant, and to be saying straight, if you want to earn your minutes, you better play good. And that's what he did. And I'm not talking about David. I'm not talking about Tom. I'm talking about the way that he said about each player and how if you don't earn your minutes and come out of injury and bust your ass, there's going to be consequences. There is going to be consequences where you're going to be traded and how this is going to affect you as a player, and that's it. And let me tell you something. If Frank Ntilikina falls down that well, that's not going to be good, because next thing you know, someone's going to get you back up on that well, and it's going to be a different team. So we don't want that to happen to Frank Ntilikina. I think he's a good player. He just has to bust his ass much more, and I do believe in that kid. I think he's around my age, and he could bust his ass. I'll tell you that. You know? Remember that one Mavs game that he played? And, it just went out so good? That's how he has to play. Back to what I was saying about the trade of Devin and Derrick Rose. I just think this was a good one. Will I miss Devin Smith Jr.? Yeah, he was a good player. He even was a good dunking, contestant on at the All-Star weekend. So, it was a B plus trade. B plus. And I just saw this glow into my eye when Derrick Rose came back and played his first game in Miami, and just played with us. So, because the first game was in Miami, so it was kind of awkward that he's not going to be playing at home, and that he's going to be playing with us in Miami versus the Miami Heat. So it was kind of odd, but at the same time, it was a good trade. It was a B plus trade. Thank you, Leon Rose. For a sec there, I was going to say Zion, but I said Leon. So, that was a B plus trade. As of for other rumors, I'm hearing that also. I clarified that Frank Ntilikina, there was speculations that he could be getting traded and all that at the time before the Derrick Rose and Devin Smith, but I think that's all over. Maybe it could come back. So, but there's also other rumors that saying maybe C.J. McCollum, and if I'm not mistaken, Bradley Beal, even Andre Drummond. It's just, I'm not complaining. I don't want to be a complainer. I just think we gotta step on the brakes and just call it a pause. I mean, I understand that we're gonna probably go through the trading deadline, but again, I don't want to just be too extreme and be too pumped up on who's gonna come. So, you know what? I'm gonna keep this on Leon Rose's hand. So I'm gonna keep this to Leon. If Leon Rose could keep this, if he could figure out who is a good player for this team and who could help us, that would be perfect. The only thing that we are kind of struggling as a team is just getting a point guard. So let's hope that maybe this coming up NBA draft, we get that player that is a point guard, because like for the last year, like for the last maybe like I don't know if it's a decade, but for the last years, we haven't had a point guard. I hope that he's gonna get a point guard, but if he doesn't, and he has something in his sleeve, let's rock and roll. Let's go on his little car of his. Let's go on that little roller coaster ride, and let's see what he has in store. Maybe we don't need a point guard that could possibly, but I might be wrong. Maybe we do need that point guard that could give us that decent push. Maybe a vet, maybe a vet could help us. So we do have guards. We do have like guards like Derrick Rose, Elfrid Payton, all of these guys, but it's just not enough. So we do need that point guard that could just shift us. Maybe we do need a point guard. Maybe we don't. But we can't stay in this, we can't think to ourselves, okay, this is, I don't like this, I don't, listen, let's see what goes on, and let's deal with it. If something fucks up, let it fuck up a little bit. We'll wait until next year. Heck, we could even waive that player. But here's the thing. Leon Rose didn't do a bad job. Leon Rose did, he actually did a good job on that trade, that Derrick Rose trade. It wasn't, was it easy? Yes, but it was like, and what I'm assuming is that, I don't know if he spoke with Tom, but I'm pretty sure that he was psyched because, listen, they also know each other, Derrick Rose knows Tom, and Tom knows Derrick. That goes for the same with Taj Gibson. Taj knows Tom, and Tom knows Taj. What do those three men have in common? They played in two teams in two cities, which was Chicago and Minnesota. Not only that, but when you put that puzzle piece together, you put those three men to teach how those players could actually play. So yes, we've got Austin, we've got Julius, we've got all of these guys that could teach these young players how to play. But at the end of the day, we could also bring older vets like Derrick Rose, like Taj Gibson, and a head coach that could actually say, you know what, this is what I did at my pad. This is what I did when I was your age as a player. And that just goes, it goes for the same as a head coach. So, listen, let's see what Tom. Let's see what some of those guys actually. We had 3 straight wins, 1 loss, and let's see during the trading deadline. I mean, you might never know. There could be a slight direction of maybe trading or adding someone from free agent. I don't know. But I don't know. I think this trading deadline is just, it's it's very, it's a questionable. It's out of curiosity. It's it's I wouldn't say concerning, but it's very most likely um, a to be continued because we're not so sure who we're gonna trade. A lot of the rumor speculations are, like I said before, um, Andre Drummond, Bradley Beal, um, CJ McCollum. So it's like all of these speculations and all this and that. Um, I mean, it's not. But I'm not expecting too much out of the trading deadline. I know this year is a very short season due to COVID. Um, which, by the way, I'm completely shocked with Adam Silver, Adam Silver's, Adam Silver, Adam Silver, Adam Silver's genius idea. Cause, damn, I mean, I wouldn't be able to like, to play 82 games while COVID is going on. I mean, that would just be ridiculous. So, but at least he kind of changed things up this year. So now it's 72 games, and we're playing, I believe, I believe the All Star weekend starts in March 5th, and it's supposed to be this month, which is February, but it is not. So, you know, you know, I'm not so sure about the trading deadline. Um, if there is going to be a trade, and and a player like one of those speculations will come in, and am I going to be shocked? Sure, I am, but too shocked? Let's see. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, that's what I think about you know the rumors, because when you think about those rumors, you're not 100% sure, because you listen from um, um, New York Post, and you listen to like all of those sports sections of like the analysis, but or like journalists. But when you kind of listen to it or watch it on TV, it's like you're not so sure if it's gonna happen, because it's like there's very likely that it's gonna happen that maybe Andre Drummond or T.J. McCollum or Bradley Beal is gonna come here, like you know. Now I'm not so sure about the Bradley Beal, but I did see C.J. McCollum and Andre Drummond, so I'm not sure about Bradley Beal. I've got to check on that. Um, yeah. That's basically about it. That's all I have to say. I mean, if there's anything else that you want to add, comment down below. So, also another thing that I do want to talk about is the upcoming games, and this is going to be the last thing. I just want to make this a little chop. The video is probably gonna be long like usual, but hopefully I could cut it. So the upcoming games that we do have is the Minnesota Timberwolves that we are going to play tomorrow, Golden State that we're going to play on Tuesday, and the Sacramento Kings, plus Indiana. So Minnesota is a shitty team. Do we have to be concerned? And I've got to use a different word. But should we be a little curious? Not really. But if they come and just beat us by the behind, or not by the behind, but if they come beating us in the back, then we are in big fucking trouble. And listen, this only happens to us like sometimes this year. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this only happens to us this year a little bit. So, and when that happens to us, like think about the Atlanta Hawks game. We we had that momentum. We were getting closer, but then we had to, pull the string. So if that ever happens to Minnesota, we got to do that again. We got to pull that string and be like, nope. And by the way, these are all home games, if I'm right. So we just got to stay consistent. Uh, like I used to say in my old videos of like, you know, season 1 and 2 of this show. Be consistent, be the ball, all that stuff, all that jack shit. So just do that and play. Play hard. Because at this point, if we're just gonna slump down, if we're gonna play sloppy D, horrible offense, it's what's the whole point? So you know what I mean? And listen, I get it. It's gonna be what if it's gonna be a second loss? Not a big deal. That's why Golden State is coming to our house, right? If I'm right, let's see. Hold on a sec. Yep. So, yeah. So, Golden State is also coming to our house. Not a big, not a big, oh my God. But we do have to be careful for players like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson. Oh, no, wait. Sorry. Delete that. Refresh that. Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Ben uh, Ben McLemore, if I'm mistaken. I don't know. I believe it's Ben McLemore. I think so. Yeah, but Ben McLemore, comment down below if I'm wrong, right? All of these guys on Golden State. So, it just comes down to like, yeah. And that goes for the same thing for Minnesota. I didn't talk about their players, but Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, all of these guys. So they're going to come out of nowhere, try to kick our ass, but we have to come back and kick their ass. Remember that Golden State game before the trade happened? We kicked their ass on their home court, so that was a huge thumbs up. But they're gonna try to give us an eye for an eye. So we have to come to home court advantage and get that win. We've got to go back at home, get that win. That's it. Against Golden State. Minnesota, this is our first time seeing them. We get that loss again, we get that loss again. But if it happens, if that happens at the Golden State game and we're not playing good and not feeling confident, then holy shit. Holy shit. We have to regroup the next game. So that way we could get ready for Sacramento. Sacramento is coming in town right now. And I think this week it's like all at home. So we got to be prepared. Sacramento is also coming. So we have to be careful. Because we're going to be tired and we're probably, going to want to fight back at the first and, lose it. But we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. I just can't see that happening to the Knicks. So, you know, yeah. You know, I mean, they've got they've got Buddy Hield, and who else? They have like another player, so you know, but they could also mess with us a little bit, like other losing teams can. But we have to be prepared to fight back if we lose against Golden State. If we lose to Golden State. And then the last game is Indiana. We versed them at home opener. They came back. I believe we won or lost. I'm not so sure. It was a long time ago in December, so it was that back and forth. And they came back like I think it was last month. Listen, that we know how to come back and forth to those guys. Of course, we might be down the first, but then we're going to come out the second. Usually our weakness is winning the first, but then trailing the second half. That's our biggest weakness, and we need to work on that. So, but listen, I mean, yeah. Because when you think about it, guys, and I did forget to mention this, but the reason of why I'm saying that for Indiana is because at the time, Victor Oladipo and, Justin Holiday, they were killing us. And now it's just Justin Holiday and some of the other guys, I believe. I think also his brother, Drew Holiday? Yeah, I'm not so sure. But you know what I mean. So, let's see what it's going to be for those 4 games, including Indiana. And, that's about it. Anyways, guys, that's all for this segment of Your Own Show, Knicks Take. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share it with your uncle, share it with your grandma who's a diehard Knicks fan, share it with your grandpa who's a diehard Knicks fan from 1970 to 1973 and all the way till today. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, your brother, your sister, your cat, your dog. You get the point. Just share it. And also, ring the notification bell. That's really important. So that way you can get weekly videos of this show. And, of course, Nothing But the Truth will also come up. Of course, you're gonna probably... I don't know what you're planning to do right after you watch this video. But right after you do that, just, So, anyways, guys, I'm just running my mouth. Anyways, guys, peace. What's up, guys? It's your boy Jerome. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And also, make sure to check out some of my other videos.